All right, we got day 6, sea day. Gonna have some breakfast this morning and enjoy the day. All right, so we got morning breakfast here on day 6. Pretty chill breakfast, but sitting out here in the atrium area. It's a beautiful ship. There's been some pros and there's been some cons, but overall pretty good trip. Just kind of been a downer that we haven't seen that many whales. I think the migration's off this year, so it's kind of maybe putting mid-May, maybe later May as the best time to see everything. So if you have a ship coming in during the later part of May, you're going to be in for a special treat as the migration is going to be headed your way. More seats, more food. Coffee station.
I can't be bothered. You just get it straight. Okay, have a lovely day, guys.
On the same floor, an American diner. They usually have a lot of breakfast options and different food options throughout the day. Similar to the buffet, just sometimes throughout the day they have like a restaurant style. So buffet most of the day, but then it's like a restaurant part of the day. So it's kind of like a run off of the buffet. And it's on the same floor, deck 9. And the elevators are cool because they actually, you just click where you want to go. Let's say 17, and it tells us where to go, so we all don't run to the same elevators, and really helps with the congestion on the Star Princess. So that is definitely a good thing with the more modern ships, not having to wrestle for elevators. Nope, there you go. Deck 17 happens to be where my room is. All right, now we're just walking around the ship, kind of exploring it because I've been exhausted, my wife's been exhausted. Having a baby on the ship, you kind of have to work around. I'm currently on deck 9, but below me is deck 8. I love the ship. Don't get me wrong, but it's definitely hard on a lot of these ships that you can tell they're really geared towards Caribbean and Mexico cruises, because most of the time on this cruise, people have not been able to use all this space out here. So the buffet tends to get a little crowded because, as you can see right now in here, the wind is blowing in my face. It's wet and cold. So while the ship is bigger, and it's nice that it's bigger, there's a lot of space that is not utilized on an Alaska cruise. So at times it'll feel more congested, at least it did to me. Because, like I said, all these seats that you're seeing me pass right now, there's nobody even sitting in them because it's out in the wet and the cold. Where if you're on the Caribbean cruise, everybody would be utilizing the space, enjoying the sun. But because you're on the Alaska cruise using a big ship like this, you have a lot of space that's just never used. And so while you're on a huge ship, it may feel like you're on a normal sized ship because there's so much space that's just not being used. So we all have preferences and things that we like more than others. I definitely don't know if the Star Princess is the best fit for an Alaska cruise. It's definitely great for the Caribbean cruise though, don't get me wrong. This would be the best ship for that because it's got tons of outdoor seating, and even the movie Under the Stars, that's great. Like if I'm on the Caribbean cruise, I want to sit there and just relax and enjoy myself. But if I'm on the Alaska cruise, it's going to be about 38 degrees, windy, and moisture on my face. Not really wanting to sit out under the stars and see much of anything. But we all have our preferences. So if you are on an Alaska cruise, realize even if you are on a huge ship like this, it's going to feel like you're still on the Eurodam or a ship that's in a smaller class. Even though the ship is bigger, there's just a lot of space you're not going to use. Here we are back on the other end of the ship. It's still deck 9. Alfredo's Pizza right here. And while it's a beautiful atrium, I think it's gorgeous. It does feel more crowded than other atriums I've seen in the past, but it's probably because we're on an Alaska cruise. All right, now we're on deck 8. Atrium you can still see. Just went down the stairs. There's the Spellbound area. Casino for all you casino players. restaurant, the Sanctuary. Just a quick rundown of what's on each deck. So I gotta say, so far the coffee's been great. Usually that's one of the things that I have to have is good coffee, and the free coffee on board is actually really strong and good. Gets you moving in the morning. Now the ice cream machines are great. The water machines are all right. These are tea. This one's the juice, but during the day it's tea and lemonade, and that hasn't been too great, but you know, can't win them all. And they have the ice cream machines everywhere, so those are great to have as well if you need ice cream throughout the day. The deck that we spend most of our time on, because our room is there, is deck 17. So when you're booking your cruise, I would think deck 17 is a winner because you have the pool out there, you have a bunch of food options, ice cream, and it's all right out there on your same deck, so you don't have to walk around the ship everywhere. I'll walk around there right now so you can check it out. I have to walk through some rooms, so I'll get back to you. Deck 17, like I said, I would recommend deck 17 if you like easy access to the pool, the jacuzzis, central location of places. There's bars, there's coffee shop right here, right outside, and it also has the ice cream machine right there. Movie under the stars, wind gusts in your face. But it's a deck 17 is a good one if you're looking for one that's, you know, sometimes when you're wanting some quick snacks, you don't want to walk around the whole ship. You just come out your room and walk on your same deck, and if that's what you're looking for, deck 17 is definitely the way to go. Especially if you want to get a jacuzzi or a pool. Sometimes you don't want to walk around the whole ship in your bathing suit and looking for where the spots are. Where if you're on deck 17, you just kind of walk right out to where everything's at. Then also having tacos and pizza, and there's also the entertainment down there. So it's kind of all centrally located. Morning. So we have Lido tacos, Lido slides. The hamburger place is on the other side too. When we first booked this, we thought Lido deck and, you know, the buffet were the same deck. So that's part of the reason we booked it, because we're like, hey, that's a no-brainer, because one of our past cruises we did the Lido deck, and it was amazing just to walk out to the buffet and not have to walk the whole ship. But that wasn't the case. Lido deck's different than the Lido buffet. Adults only section this way. And those wind gusts are really kicking up right now as we're about a day away from Victoria. But as you can see, there's a lot of outdoor areas that you just don't use. So there's the dome, and you can barely hear me because the wind gusts are pretty much about ready to throw me in the ocean. But here's another part of the ship you can't really use on this cruise too much because it is so windy here. It is crazy wind gusts, and I don't even want to walk down there because these wind gusts are about to throw me in the water. This is getting crazy. But anyway, this is the front part of deck 17. All right, so I'm back. That was crazy. Those wind gusts were about to make my phone fly out of my hand. So yeah, there's another section. It's hard to use when it's going through Alaska because it's cold. But at least when you get closer to town, It's a great deck to be on, deck 17. They also have water stations, great seating too. Lido Grill, place your orders here and they come out with some great burgers or hot dogs, sometimes other things too, but we sit here usually because it's really centrally located and close to our rooms, and you also get good views if there was wells or anything like that. This tends to open about 10:30, sometimes 11, depending on if you're in port or not. And the ice cream machines tend to open about 10. So if you're an early riser like me and you want to have an ice cream, you got to usually wait till 10. So I know that's hard for some of us. I was going to walk a little higher and show you guys a little more, but the way these wind gusts are going right now, that may not be a safe thing to do. So I may have to do that later.
So, this is where I'm telling you about what they look like. The brown bear is the second biggest bear after the polar bear, which is the largest. They can be between 3 to 5 feet tall at the shoulder, which is 0.9 to 1.5 meters, and between 5 to 7 feet in length, so that's like toe to butt, which is about 1.5 to 2 meters. And then
Waves over here. There's some big waves.
Two tables, 2 games to complete. Complete the game and walk away with a prize. This is your Family Fun Fair.
got movies under the stars, kind of. Having some tacos. Wind's blowing like 50 miles an hour. But you know what? I'm getting my money's worth. I'm gonna have some tacos and watch some movies under the stars, even if it's windy and rainy.